cheap solar power, batteries, and electric vehicles are changing the transport and energy sector as we know. I bring in guests to this podcast who will help you with their ideas to navigate this energy transition. By the way, this episode is also available as a video on our YouTube channel. Just search Energypreneurs. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Sonya. Good afternoon. Great to connect after a long time.
Yes, good afternoon. Sorry,
I'm in Manila. Where are you?
I'm in Beijing actually, having my annual leave finally.
So I know that you are in banking. You have done a lot of interesting stuff. Maybe you can do a quick introduction of yourself and then let's see what we can learn from you.
All right, thank you. Okay, first of all, I be in the industry, private banking. We call private banking industry in China, but actually wealth management, right? So for 17 years, I have to say I've been lucky. After I graduated, I got a chance to work with, we say, foreign banks in China. Like the first one I had was Standard Chartered. And then all the way I'm here, I've been in Zurich for about 3 years with UBS. And then now I'm in Singapore. I'm based in Singapore. But I always cover China, Greater China. So for business purpose, for my personal, my hometown, right? And then for my friend zone and so on. Yeah, definitely China is my home.
Yeah, you are doing private banking and the way China is now leading on electric vehicle, leasing of public fleets, electric buses, batteries. I mean, you name it, right? So you must have done a lot of those transactions in the last 17 years, no?
Actually, yeah, we did. I mean, from time to time, we have chances to get involved in the industry. So to catch up the trend along with our client. Just now you mentioned EV industry and then AI related technologies. I would say after DeepSeek at the beginning of the year, so China has seen another wave of growth in this particular industry.
So anything interesting and exciting that you want to share? One of your best projects? Must be a lot of interesting ones, no?
Oh, okay. Well, actually, DeepSeek, for example, is not published yet, right? And then if we're talking about the companies we can have access to evolve, for example, in the electric, right? So the EV cars, most important part is the electric part, right? I mean, 2 months ago was one of the biggest IPO in Hong Kong as a Chinese company. We think this is a very good one to look. But now we don't have specific tools to help our clients to get into these companies via the product offering and then benefit from the growth of the company. But definitely BYD is the one who have been, invest for a while. This is a very good one. We've seen BYD in a way is one of the largest in terms of production line of vehicles, is the one of the biggest in the world. So BYD definitely is the one we have been involved in for at least a year. So you would like to know in what way we have been helping the client to involve in the investment? Actually, buying the stock is the most direct way everybody can do it. So, but usually private banking like us or the clients, like they don't usually buy and sell, like, find a point on a secondary market. But instead, we will do this via all kind of tools. For example, tools like structured product. Then, of course, we have view, right? So we have our view on the companies, and then we share with the clients. So if we have the common thought or align with each other, we'll discuss further. For example, if we talk about BYD, usually we have two types of product. We're very popular if you talk about structured product. One is buying non-equity stock with the discount rate. So those are all derivatives, right? How's the price now? I didn't pay attention to this in the past week because I was traveling. So anyway, usually for this type of company, Alibaba will be more discounted because the volatility in the market. So usually 70% of the current price, I should set up to get into or a certain amount of the equity in a daily basis is the one we are really good at and we like it a lot. And the client like about two, because we're not type of investors speculating the market every day, but rather see it in the long run. So we just find a potential company and buy deep or discount price, depends on how you understand it, and then hold it for a longer time. So this is one type. And the other type, more like conservative one, for the clients who are ultra high net worth base, their wealth like everywhere, right? Majority of the wealth in their companies, or they have bankable asset, but they rather don't want to take any risk, right? That's very common in a private banking world. So in this case, and then they also know market, they understand the market, also want to catch up the trend. We have the structure called as ELN, which is like you have the guarantee premium. So in case you won't lose your capital, and then you have certain range of the return. For example, we get annual return like 6%. In some extreme way, you can have the annual return like 15, 10%. That also depends on your underlying. So in this case, you catch up the trend of specific company or underlying, for example, BYD, you can link one, that's called equity linked for that, right? You can link one BYD or you can link multiple same industry or different industries companies. And then in return, you have your premium sort of guarantee. Well, you don't have guaranteeing word in the contract, of course, that because there is a formula, you can check and roughly calculate how it works. You have definitely higher annual return in this kind of structure. So yeah, that's the kind of common way.
So you must have a very strong views about BYD, especially right now. It's the biggest selling car in the world, right? So you must have strong opinion as to how it's growing. You must have a strong opinion on how sort of the lithium market is growing, no?
We actually, not me, but our bank or majority of the bank, right? Yeah, but we definitely look at the chart database, of course, also, because as I said at the beginning, it is supposed to be one of the largest or biggest provider in the world. And then also with their own technology. So they also have investment in the technology like AI, like auto drive, right? So the key focus or the key factor of why we are thinking.
I mean, you made a very interesting point because there are a lot of social media posts going on because once Tesla's AI revenues comes in, self-drive revenue comes in, the value will go up tremendously because companies like BYD and Tesla, these are really not a car company, right? They provide so much more value and the potential to provide so much more value. They are like on the electric space, they might become vehicle to grid, connecting electricity, selling back to the grid. They might provide transportation services. The one that just got launched in Austin, eventually they might provide way more in terms of robotics, AI. So I'm sure when you making those investment, you have those sort of studies to back up.
Yeah, we definitely study the trendy companies or the companies can help us to earn money a lot. So that's our job. So yeah, true.
So how is it changing? It's especially you mentioned DeepSeek when that AI came in, ChatGPT came before. So when all this thing came in, suddenly people must be taking a lot of interest in these big, well-established companies, no?
Yeah. Actually, everybody's surprised at the beginning of the year, DeepSeek, like in front of us. So from there, actually, we sort of reflecting maybe Google or such companies, right? They reflected themselves from different angles as well. And also as institutions, banks, we also rethink or reconsider the company's value in the long run and why things like that, right? So there are pros and cons. DeepSeek is, as we know, cheaper but better offer, right? So how many times cheaper? Okay, for example, if Google or other companies spend 100 for a project, they just spend like $10, something like that, right? So if I'm not wrong, I don't remember how many times multiple cheaper.
It's much cheaper. Yes, yes.
Much cheaper, yeah, in terms of cost. So everybody is considering how smartly they should invest in such companies. But after that, we all knew Wang, Mr. Wang. So they also include Alibaba, and then all other companies announced they have signed a contract with the DeepSeek to, having their technologies implemented on their platform as well. So these are the facts we experienced in the past half year. So yeah, talk about the BYD, I would like to share. Our target price is 483. So yeah, it has a very good upside, about 40% upside as well. So this is the target price. And then also their EPS in 2026, we estimate to the 22.65, 15.85. So we can tell the very tremendous growth from this year to the next year. Actually, in the past year, if you pay attention, it has gone up 63.6%. I mean, the equity price.
So
Yeah.
that's a significant amount, 63%.
Yeah, it is.
So you have a lot of BYD shares as well, I gather.
We have some, yeah.
And you're driving a BYD?
No, actually, I don't have BYD car, but one of my colleagues in Singapore, he bought a BYD car. I mean, the car tax in Singapore is very high, right? So the total payment he paid at least 3 times price of China. Yeah. So I just took a BYD taxi this morning.
Yeah, it's a very. I mean, the Philippines
It is.
has so far in the last 6 months, I think. I was looking at number 10,000 BYDs got sold. So it's a lot of BYD.
Oh, is that right? Very good one. Actually, a very good price. And then combined with the functionality, right? But Tesla is still a good one too. I was planning to buy a Tesla when I just came back to Zurich. And then I paid a down payment also. But because my car plate got some problem, I have to postpone the purchase. But okay, how's the car?
But the new
Good.
Model Y, the refresh is really amazing car.
Amazing, right?
By
Model
then,
Y
that
is
was a
good.
good idea. Now you can buy. This is
Okay.
really amazing car.
Still on my list, we're not. Tesla is, I mean, my son is a big fan of, so yeah, he's amazing, like SpaceX, sort of, yeah.
Investors, do you see a lot of young people investing? Do you get instruction like that? I want to invest in technology or others, or people mostly saying, I want to maximize my investment?
All right, not really actually. So if we talk about the total portfolio, like not only myself, but we manage it. So majority of the money we will say old money, meaning the first generation's money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, they tend to be more, conservative. As I said, they have a lot of risks, and then they have risk exposures at their own industry company already enough. They want their cash to be safe as much as can. But there are some of the second gen or the third gen even who have distributed some of the cash by the grandfather or the father. Don't get me wrong. So just now we're talking about technology or EV industry. These are one of the most volatile industries in terms of the secondary market. So first gen also just the way, how do they participate? And then for how many percentages?
Because I'm sure they also diversify themselves, right? They are not all money to one channel. They must have multiple channel also. So you want to not take risk, and if they want to take risk, they can take risk in another portfolio, right?
Yeah. And then, risk and the return, if in the right way, should be the equally right, up or down. So we are looking for alpha. Actually, the most type of client we are worried about is too conservative. In that case, we won't beat the inflation at all. And then in a way, we lose money. So we need some of the risks, let's say.
Yeah, because risk is always flip side is return, right?
Yeah, you're right. And then they would like to learn actually, like why and how. So this is a kind of a learning curve for everyone. Yeah, so far good.
So at your portfolio level, do you look beyond the return? Do you also want to say these are the industries we want to support? Or maybe do you have a
Mm,
dedicated fund for startups, or you just say, no, what's
mm,
the risk adjusted maximum return?
Very good question. So actually different banks have their different perspective and goal, right? So majority of, let's say, wealth management world looking for steady. And then at the same time, we would like to get involved into, I mean, we don't want to be outdated, right? So the industries like ESG, BNP Paribas likes a lot and also good at the way we involved. So, I mean, different ways, but the pivotal way is to launch a fund and then the fund itself support selected companies. So associate with the ESG topic or the factors. So this is, I think, very good one for a company or for a bank, if the bank is a company to support or to get back to the society in a way. But other than that, I'm not sure what type of small and companies or entities you're talking about. This is one type we like. Um, the banks like AIB, right? And these are different type of banks compared to us.
Of course, if you have a particular product targeting to an ESG,
Mm,
and the people who are investing, they can decide on how many units of this, how many units of that, so they can diversify themselves, right?
True, true.
So what else you do for fun when you're not doing banking?
Oh gosh, that's a very good question. Like friends gathering, like last time we had, I really love that. Maybe because my age, getting older, I really like to be around with families and friends, no matter where we are, whatever, we are doing. So that's the most welcome way for me to spend my holidays. And then I do travel a lot and then play tennis, go to gym, and then try to be, like keep the shape.
So you travel quite a lot because you said you're based out of Singapore. Right now you're in China, but you do travel, right?
Travel a lot. From next year, I will try to reduce the frequency of travel, but not now. So like this year, start from last December, I travel every week, every month, in a monthly basis. And then, China is big, right? So now I'm in Beijing. I just finished my travel actually, start from June 12th, and then on the way to Beijing, Shanghai, and then come back to Beijing. And then now I'm in Beijing. So yeah, every month. And then in between, I went to Bangkok, right?
Yes.
And then I also went to like Seoul or, Tokyo.
Yeah, no, travel is fun, but exhausting also. My God.
It is exhausting. Today you see me and my face is okay. But I mean, last week I'm like, whatever.
I used to travel a lot. I still do, but mostly personal travel, but still sort of remembering those days. It tires me out.
Yeah, we really shouldn't. I mean, I should have, pay attention to my own.
I know, I think eventually, not very distant future, because think the way that China has done all the fast trains, all domestic or short haul flights, maybe China will be the first country to make them electric.
You mean the fast train?
Planes, electric planes.
Planes, not yet. But yeah, there is a plan.
There are a lot of piloting going on. What I'm saying, if a country does commercialize that potentially could be China, no?
True. Hopefully. But yeah, need some time. But actually, for the EV industry, I would say China is one of the best. Yeah. So I wish China can launch the first electric plane in the near future, right?
Yeah, because there are a lot going on. And electric vehicle wise now, everywhere, right? You have so many
So
brands.
so many brands. I mean, they're so luxury inside. Oh, you know what I mean? So my goodness. We are human being, right? It's really easy to get spoiled by things, right? Oh my God. Because yeah, you know, in the past, okay, I had some cars, several cars with cabrio one or the four wheels, like a normal car. So all of them were a BMW.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking the electric car will be the next goal for me, but not just here, you know, Singapore. We don't need car. Totally costly.
Singapore also where you go, right?
Yeah, it's so small, right? Where you go, you just take MRT. And then if you feel like somewhere is not that convenient, just take a Grab, right? Taxi, a good price too. Yeah, I don't see I will buy car in Singapore. Really not
Singapore, you have
necessary.
to drive to Malaysia, right?
True. It's called JB, Johor Bahru.
Yeah, yeah.
Johor Bahru is a city like Shenzhen and Hong Kong. The relationship, like Shenzhen and Hong Kong, is the type of a place like Shenzhen. But okay, of course, to be honest, far not that advanced. Yeah.
No, but Sonia, tell me one thing, digressing a bit. There are a lot of robots in Chinese industry. That's what it has become. A lot of
Mhm.
automation everywhere.
Mm.
And because the China trials it out, you are right now in China World Hotel, right? I used to go there a lot.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
So they were always using updated, latest technology. So there must
Mhm.
be already in the restaurants that you have robots serving, like you see in Seoul in Korea
Yeah.
long ago. So how you see robots coming into everyday life in China now, or where it is now, where it will go, you think?
Actually, there are pros and cons for everything, but this one particularly pros and cons. So everyone knows economy situation in the world is be difficult, right? We have wars, you know, ongoing, like all kind of physical wars or the text sort of wars. Actually, it's not that easy. So if you talk the benefit of the AI or let's say auto robot service, it's good for the companies or for the years, right? They have some sort of cost saving. Then that's one thing. And the other thing also having sort of the sentiment of experimental testing. So let's see how it works. It's like by 2 or 3 in a whole like 10-hour hotel, right? So 80 floors high. So like you go talk about hotel itself, like several floors. So it can goes up and down themselves. You just set up both, right? As I said, one is budget concern to save costs by some. And the other factor is to test how it works.
Mhm.
And then actually, as we talked at the beginning of this topic, it has been a while for this type of robot service. This is really common everywhere. Like, you know, clean the floor, you go to the airport, you need to find a plane, and then the robot can even lead you to the place, right? And then also we have a delivery service, right? Like Meituan, D. You have domestic services too, right? Like city service, domestic, and then international. So for this, in the past 2 years, they have launched the auto driving like cars to deliver their goods to clients. So that means we don't need to hire someone to deliver or ride a bike, bicycle, whatever to deliver the goods. So input certain code and then the robot will complete the target. So from this trip, I knew from a country perspective, they're trying to control the speed of the AI or automatic driving service in this particular type of services. Because they really afraid of if you as a company, as an employer, you just think about yourself, but not the society, you know, how many people lose the job. So yeah, that's now we are having the status. Well, actually the technology is there already, but we just control the speed.
That's interesting. I mean, so
Mm.
that you have the
Mm.
time to
Mm.
adapt to the technology changes that is
Mm.
coming.
True. And then also, you know, unlike the Western or developed countries, you have more looser policy, right? Like just try road, try in the building. But in the Western country, like Google, auto driving taxi, right? You have cameras everywhere and so on. So it's hard to implement in a specific place. But in China, it's really easy. You just read in per hour, you get in the car, and then if you're in, you just like accept it already, right? So that's another way to speed up the whole process, actually.
And then also the growing concern people have is sort of the inequality it creates, right? Because some people are not adopting, some cannot afford, or some can. So it's sort of already there's a lot of disparity in the world. Now you're creating more, right?
Yes, that's really true. Yeah. It's not easy, but movie. They don't think the only thing you and me can do is to accept everything, right? But that's true. You're right. Totally.
So do you have any views as to where this technology go in the next 5 years?
Not really. I rather keep my word, keep my mouth. I'm really not sure, but it's a matter of the time, right? It can be a very likely faster than we've thought.
Yes, very, very fast.
True.
Because we were used to technology
Mm.
going slowly. Now technology just started going more steep, right?
It is very steep, right?
Like even GPT brought people to real interface of AI. November 2024, right?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, it just started, but already spread out of the world.
no, sorry. Yeah, 2023. So it's just a bit more than a year. And now it's sort of integrated into everything, right?
Yeah, true.
Unbelievable
True.
how things are moving.
True. Because of this, we've seen so many people lost their job,
Yeah.
like editors, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was
Yeah.
telling someone the other day, even
Mm.
the Asian Development Bank where I used to work, in a formal meeting, you will have a cassette recorder that will record the meeting minutes, and someone physically listening and transcribing. It takes a while. Meeting transcribing is a lot of work. And then you get a draft. Then you have to saying, and then there will be words that I did not understand. You have to correct, right? The whole
Yeah.
process takes a week. Then someone is summarizing. So eventually, by the time you have a good written summary that everyone agreed, it can be 2-3 weeks and possibly cost 10-15 hours of different people's time. And right
True.
now it takes less than a minute. You upload the audio file saying, I need the summary. Get the transcript and you get the summary. Correct or not, that's a different issue.
Yeah, really true. I mean, more you know, more you feel scared about the technology, right?
And I know that you are running between meetings. Is there anything else I could have asked, Sonia? I know that we have been talking here and there.
Maybe we saved it for next time. Actually, our friend, and I'm sorry I didn't prepare anything.
It's just a conversation, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, the topics are very good. Also, these some of the extra knowledge gap. To me, I'm thinking I should later on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Energypreneurs. If you enjoyed this, don't forget the full video is on YouTube. Just search Energypreneurs. Thank you. See you next time.